Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense.
That's right, America. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Lost Art of Common Sense. And this week we will be talking about Israel. The war between Hamas and Israel, the atrocities that Hamas did to the Israeli citizens, kind of get into, who's funding Hamas, who's funding everything, and we'll be just explaining, whatever, about the war. So, Josh, if you could explain kind of what's going on, what led to it, what, just kind of what happened in Israel, and go into as graphic or as, plain detail as you want.
Well, from my understanding, they waited for a holiday. I apologize for not knowing which one that is. To do a multi-front attack from water, sky, and air. They said that now I know Benjamin Netanyahu, because he's in charge. He's getting a lot of shit for what happened because basically it should be next to impossible to invade Israel. Like they have the most sophisticated border security like in the world. But I guess what happened is they hit one of the. It's like one of the radar towers or something that monitors the border. And then they took out one of the sections of wall. And they used drones with the grenade drops, like what they're using in Ukraine. And then they intentionally, those paragliders that came in, they intentionally did that because our most advanced anti-air detection systems are designed to detect fast things. So they think that they did that on purpose because they're small and slow, so they won't get picked up by any radar or sensors, which is how they got in. But they basically came in, crashed a music festival, killed almost everybody, broke into houses, murdered everybody that was in there. And then if you were lucky enough not to be murdered, they took you back into Gaza as a prisoner. And from some of the footage we saw, they were raping women and parading them around. They kidnapped Holocaust survivors. Apparently, there's reports that they shot babies in their cribs, decapitated babies. One disturbing footage that was on Fox News as part of the B-roll that they were playing. If you're a dog lover, showed a Rottweiler running out or some kind of dog running out toward one of the terrorists and showed the terrorists killing the dog. That was kind of like they blurred it, but it wasn't a very good blur. But I mean, they just went in and slaughtered everybody. They weren't even looking for military people. They literally went in to try to kill as many people as possible, and then whoever they didn't kill, they just dragged back as hostages. And it was, I forgot what the holiday. I don't think it's Yom Kippur.
No, it's not Yom Kippur. I can't remember. It's like 2 days or a day of.
Now I know Saturday is their day of rest. Like they don't do any.
Well, it definitely was Saturday.
It makes you wonder why they're at the music festival. They can't do like internet stuff or like you're not supposed to do any electronic stuff, work, no phones, which is probably another day they picked that day because Saturday is the Jewish Sabbath.
Yeah, so I think that was it. There was a holiday though, because I know it was a holiday because they had less security than they usually do because of the holiday. I just don't know what holiday it was, but it wasn't.
I think it was pretty close to an anniversary of the end of the hell was that battle? It was a long time ago.
Shit. I don't know.
That's why I should do more research before we do the show. But yeah, this was the largest. This was the single largest loss of Jewish life since the Holocaust.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know there's over 1,000 killed.
20 Americans.
Over 20 Americans. I think it's 24 now. I think there's still there's over a dozen missing, like that are possibly hostages, and possibly, I mean, they don't have a count on it. There's anywhere from 14 to like 20 some people that could be hostages that are hold American citizenship. um, but no, it was a disgusting act. Um, this was not about, you know, this isn't how you do war.
Well, it's
This
not
is
territorial. It wasn't a territorial attack.
No, this was to eradicate the Jewish people. And that's one of the three pillars of Hamas is the eradication of Israel and all Jews on the face of the earth. So,
Have you ever looked up to see what the actual beef is?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming it's religious based, but like, Muslims, like the Muslim religion hasn't, as far as world religions go, that's like one of the youngest.
Yeah, and
So I'm not sure what the.
I think it's the fact that they gave them that land, Israel, like everybody just kind of said, like, yeah, that's yours.
Oh yeah,
So
I
think
guess
they're
that's
just
kind of
gonna.
when it started.
I mean,
Well,
there's
that
been
whole part of the planet, ever since forever, has gone back and forth. Like back in the day, before the Jewish state, it just flip flopped between Christians and Muslims.
yeah, the Holy Land has definitely been hotly warred. There's been war after war there. The Great Crusades, that was against the Muslims. It's just been, you know, because every major faith has strong religious ties to that area of the world. So you got Jesus was born there. You got the wall, the Jews, with the
The
wall,
Wailing Wall,
the Wailing Wall. Then there's like a mosque there.
the Temple
Really,
Mound.
yep, for the Muslims. So it's all in one spot. So because basically, all these religions basically, um, they're kind of branches of each other, but they just had different beliefs of what you know who Jesus is, and they have other, they have Muhammad and stuff like that in the Muslim faith. So, and
It's weird too, and I need to look
I'd
into
like
it.
to do an episode of religion, kind of figure these things out.
Yeah, because I think in the Quran, I think Jesus is considered a prophet,
Yeah,
or I think in the Jewish religion, he's considered a false prophet,
I don't know if he's a false prophet or
or maybe a false deity or something. But like
something like that.
they don't think of him as a son of God, which, considering I think he was crucified by the Jews, I probably wouldn't want to admit to that either. But uh, apparently, it's in the Bible, and there's going to be an episode coming out about it. But like, if you're a good Christian, it's basically in the Bible that you are to support the Jewish people, because even in the Bible, the Jewish people are God's people, chosen
Yes.
people.
Yep.
So you can't, even though and you can say even though they killed the Son of God, but like his sacrifice is what freed us of all our sins. So it kind of seemed like that was destined to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I think what you said is probably more correct. Like they got a Jewish state and it's right in the Holy Land, so that might have been what the original beef was. But
I'm
and there's
almost
been
positive
videos on
that's
it,
what it
but
was.
I could have watched a video on it too. Like literally said like the whole story of the conflict, and I was like,
We'll just wing this.
I don't need to watch that.
All I know is they don't like each other, and Hamas is Hamas a terrorist organization? And if they are, who is funding Hamas?
Well, it depends on where you live. If you live in Canada, they're not, and you're not allowed to call them a terrorist organization.
Well, yeah, can you even say? I don't even think you can say terrorists on the air. For
no,
anything
you can't.
in Canada.
Now, if it was white people, then you probably can. But
well, yeah,
I think the truckers were terrorists. But yeah, they
Yeah.
can't. They can't use the word terrorist and Hamas in the same sentence, because we talk about communism all the time. We literally have an uprising communist state right to our north, and like nobody seems to notice.
Well, I mean, I think some people seem to notice.
But yeah, they're 1,000% a terrorist organization, and they're funded through, they're funded through Iran. and as well as all the other ones. I think even though they fight a lot, but something happened during an exile, and that's when Hamas hooked up with Iran. This was way back in the I think Jimmy Carter days. Could have been Clinton too. Maybe it was Clinton. There was something happened where like these people were all basically expelled from I think what we call Israel now, I think, but it was a big peace talk and they were all kicked out. So they thought these people would either not talk to each other because they hated each other or they would start fighting because they hated each other. And it turned out they ended up getting along. And that's how Hamas and Iran got their ties. But yeah, I'd say a big amount of their funding comes from Iran.
Who gets their funding from us?
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's well, so does Hamas. They get $200 million a year from us, $250 million a year.
yeah, well, that's for aid.
That goes to the Gaza Strip, which is Rand elected by Hamas.
Yeah, but it's supposed to go for aid and stuff.
That's what's
'Cause
so funny because they were bitching that Israel turned off their power. It's like, well, maybe if you took some of the fucking aid money you got and built a power plant,
two hundred
you wouldn't
fifty
have that
million
problem.
dollars is enough money to build a power plant
Yeah, especially over there.
and a water thing.
Yeah, like they bitch about Israel and they supply all their power and water, and then they take all their aid and spend it on uh,
Guns.
guns, rockets,
Yeah.
all that stuff, building tunnels.
Yeah, and like the tunnels is where they think they're keeping the hostages in all those tunnels. So, like Israel knows where the tunnels are. They're just kind of like, we can't blow them up yet until we, I think they're going to go in by they're going to go in on foot to the tunnels
Yep.
to try to save as many hostages as they can.
Well, I think Hamas as a group is over.
Oh,
Not
I
right
hope
now,
so.
this minute, but they're going to be. From my understanding, they're going after Hamas like we went after ISIS.
And they should. I have no
And I
problem with
think
it.
they're worse than ISIS. They're like, oh, they're acting like ISIS. They're an ISIS attack. Yeah, ISIS cut off people's heads. I don't remember hearing any stories as fucked up like the ones coming out like what Hamas is doing.
No, see, well, they had, ISIS had suicide bombers. So, I mean, yes, women and children were killed, but they didn't go, they didn't cut off babies' heads. They didn't shoot babies in the head. They didn't kill children. They didn't rape women.
No, they
Um,
probably rape some women.
well, they probably raped some women, but they didn't do it, they didn't live feed it, shit
No,
like
like this
that.
is yeah, this is new too.
So these aren't terrorists. These are animals. They're
And I
worse
guess
than
they're
animals.
doing it to drum up support against other crazy ass fucking extreme Muslim extremists because you're sure as fuck not going to get any support on the world stage airing that shit.
No, and so you're seeing all this shit. Everybody's seeing all this shit. Everybody sees the atrocities going on. The atrocities against just human nature, this humanity. These are war crimes beyond war crimes. This is shit the Nazis, say what you want, but they did this shit, behind closed doors. They didn't, publicly flash this shit. Like Hamas is proud of what they're doing to these people. They're proud of raping and killing and killing women and children, raping, they're proud of it. They're showing it. So what I don't get, what do you think all these people who are supporting what Hamas did when they, did all this shit, shooting concert goers, shooting civilians? Who what is in the mind of these people who, like in was Australia on the Sydney Opera steps, like they're yelling, gas the Jews, gas the Jews,
Well, see, that's a problem because there's actually been like I don't know if it's kind of like a fad, I guess, but like there's a contagion spreading across the world of anti Semitism. And it's like that's the new in thing to hate. And I don't understand it. Anybody who supports Hamas and the eradication of any group of people, I say that while simultaneously wanting all Hamas members to die uh, for what they did, not just for existing, uh, is a piece of shit. It is just an ass hair above the actual Hamas people.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree 100%. They're what's wrong with humanity? I mean,
I don't understand the whole anti-Semitism thing. Like, I granted, I know Israel's not perfect, but like, maybe I've had my head in the sand. But do you know of anything that
The
they've
Jews
done
did lately?
that's?
No, I do not.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
They
I don't
just
know
keep giving
anything
up
that any Jewish person.
territory and
Well, there's always that, that old cliche or, stereotype that, Jews are behind everything in the world, shit
it's
like
just
that.
Hollywood and banking, Kevin.
Now, I think they think more than that. Well, I mean, Hollywood and banking is basically the backing of everything. So, but I mean, I don't even think that's even close to true. So they think there's this big Jewish cabal that's, running the world or something. I think that's part of it. I don't know. The people are just fucked up, and for some reason, and like you said, it's a mass contagion. I don't think half these people, if you ask them why they hate the Jews, they would give you any kind of sensible answer. Like, there's nothing like, oh yeah, because of these facts, they did this and this and this. It'll be like the crazy conspiracy theory, stuff like that. So I think these people are just young, dumb, and just stupid. I mean, they're just fucking idiots. These are the people that have no lives. They spend their days on the internet on these neo-Nazi fucking uh websites, just gobbling this shit in and fucking spurting it out, and all of a sudden, oh, yay, Jews are dying. So
I think it was Yom Kippur.
was it?
I think that's what they were celebrating because it was the Yom Kippur War in October of 1973, and I think that's a war I was thinking of. That see, there was a time where Israel occupied a pretty decent chunk of Egypt to their south.
Yeah, they gave part of it. They gave it away.
They gave over the size of their country away, I think,
Yeah,
and then they gave up the
Gaza Strip
Gaza Strip. So
in
like they
2005.
they do nothing but perpetuate, or not perpetuate, but what they've been doing is like, okay, we'll do this, and then they'll like us, blah blah blah. Because back in the day, for the Yom Kippur War and stuff, like if you shot an Israeli, they killed 10 of your people. If you blew up a house, they blew up a town. Like, because you're surrounded by people that hate you, their retaliation for any attack was so over the top that it was like, all right, well, you can do this if you want, but
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, this is all disproportionate." They're doing this isn't a proportionate response, or this is a disproportionate response, but they have to. They have to make it to where Hamas will never do this again, or any other terrorist group will think twice about going against Israel because they're under constant threat.
yeah, like
It's
I don't know.
like, so what I mean, if you really want to put it in like perspective, it'd be like if China was to our south and Russia was to our north.
Yeah,
Then you had like, I don't know, old Nazi Germany to our
well,
east.
it's almost like Russia or China is to our north,
Well, it's definitely like China's to our north. It's getting that way.
and then like I guess to the south would be more like the Middle East
Yeah.
because there's no real operating government in Mexico. I don't care what they say. Mexico's a failed state.
Oh, for sure. I think we should just take it over
Yeah,
and destroy the cartels. That's my thoughts on Mexico.
fine with me. Found 51st state, buddy.
Put a bunch of fucking resorts on there, and I can go there whenever I want without having to have a passport.
I don't know unless you plan on blowing up the massive amount of resorts already in
Well,
Mexico.
I want more resorts, buddy.
I think we have to. Better water,
I don't know. I realized when I've been in Texas that your water sucks. So
See, what you do is you take over Mexico and then you just push all the illegals down there. I'm like, there, you're in America.
yeah, you're an American. Here,
Welcome to America. Stay down there.
yeah, that's your state. All right. Uh, like we were talking about, there's a lot of Palestinian supporters believe all the fake news footage, or like a lot of the supporters, these Palestinian supporters, all these Hamas supporters, they think all, if most, if not all, the news footage is fake or made up, but we're willing to believe whatever they heard about Ukraine without hesitation or doubt. Why is that? Why? Why are they? They see like real, like live footage of people getting killed, children getting killed, women getting killed, and they're like, "Oh, that's fake." But then you go to Ukraine, and I don't. there's been very little footage coming out of Ukraine on this whole war. Either, you don't see anything on this. So why are they so willing to believe in the Ukrainian war and so hesitant to believe in the Israeli war?
Well, and it's no surprise that most Palestinian supporters are on the left, so they're going to believe whatever they're told, or you know, act like, well, no, this is going to make Palestinians look bad, so this is all fake. That's not actually happening. That was all staged, and Israel's just attacking because they want the Gaza Strip back and stuff like that. And and I don't have a beef with any specific type of person. I'm sure there's plenty of nice ass Palestinians that just want to live life. But at the end of the day, they elected Hamas. Hamas didn't come in and violently take over the country. Now, after they were elected, they killed all their, opposition.
Yeah, I think who is it in the West Bank? I think what is it? Fatah, something like that, that rules the West Bank area of Palestine. Because it's just a Gaza Strip that Hamas,
Yeah, it's
controls.
all they wanted.
So I
But
mean,
those people elected Hamas, what the fuck did eventually? So, and that's the same thing as if we have any sleeper cells in this country and they go off, you can blame every person that voted Democrat, because you can try to blame the people in charge all you want. They got there somehow, and it's through dumbasses voting for them. Just the same way, it sucks if innocent people are dying in the Gaza Strip, but you brought that on yourself when you elected a group that literally said they want to destroy the much stronger, more advanced military force right next to them.
well, I mean, at least Israel gave them notice. I think they gave them a 48-hour
Oh, they
notice,
always do that. They've always done that.
like get out, or you're
Yeah,
going
it's
to probably die.
we're blowing shit up, get out.
And they showed them exactly where they're going to start bombing. They didn't show them everywhere they're going to bomb. Where they're like, we're going to start right here. So these people need to get the fuck out.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that pissed me off, other than you are correct, and there isn't a whole lot of war footage from Israel other than just people saying there is.
Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine. And there's another thing. There is no way in fuck that the U.S. active sitting U.S. president would go into a active war zone.
Well, I did. Well, there was
No way in
sirens
hell.
going. There was sirens going off when he was there,
Yeah,
and
it
he
was probably
didn't
around.
flinch because he's so tough.
It was probably around noon.
It's lunchtime.
That, or they just added the sound effect to the footage. But there's just no way in hell. There's no way in hell they're going to let the sitting president go to a fucking active war zone. Not going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's so much footage.
Now,
Of,
I don't know where that was compared to where the fighting was, but you got to think, it's not like Russia doesn't have missiles, as we've already seen, that they can shoot down an airplane, to where why in the hell would anybody take that chance?
yeah.
As the president, supposedly, even the current president is the most important person in the country. All right,
In the
let's
world, yeah.
load them up and just fly them on over to an active war zone. That was fucking weird.
Well, I mean, do you think all these politicians would go over to Kyiv if they thought there was any danger?
No.
Have you ever seen those footages of So I've seen TikTok stuff where you'll see footage of somebody ducking, and they're all in war gear, like a news crew. And they're like, oh my god, it's so bad here. And somebody will be videoing a TikTok or something, or a reel, and they'll be back in an apartment behind them, just watching them. And there's just people crossing the street, living their daily lives, not even afraid. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird war, and it's weird how it already pisses me off, because they're already literally, I think Monday or Tuesday, they were linking up Israel with Ukraine. It's the same thing. No, it is not the same thing.
No, it is
at
not
all.
the same.
But they're if you listen to the left, anytime they bring it up, he will bring up Ukraine and Israel at the same time.
Well, that's because he needs all the money he can get for Ukraine, so he can funnel it back to himself.
Yeah, the whole Ukraine thing's weird.
Yeah,
I'm not
agree.
saying anything.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying there's not a war.
It's fucking weird.
I just don't understand it, because you don't see any footage of active warfare.
Wasn't there a video where there's there's a Russian tank, and you could literally see it was a cardboard cutout?
Yeah.
And then the video game footage, and
I mean, there's just a lot of weird shit going on over there. and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. It's that
We
part was weird. Somebody brought that up to me, and I got to thinking. I'm like, huh. I watch and listen to a lot of news, and I don't remember seeing a whole lot of Ukraine war footage.
I
I do
remember.
remember seeing a video of the president playing a piano with his dong.
I do remember that. I think we showed that.
Yes, we did.
I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I remember when I was a kid and the Gulf War was going on, and it was on like CNN 24/7. So I just don't understand how, in this day and age, there's not active warfare, videos going on with Ukraine. And I'm not saying there's not a war going on. I'm just saying it's just a weird war, and I don't get it.
I remember when Gulf War was going on, we were in elementary school, and I always got dropped off by babysitters. Well, this lady, before we had to go to school because my dad had to go to work earlier. And I remember they had a TV in their kitchen. I don't know why I fucking remember this, but there was a soldier, prisoner of war, and they were like, like the Iraqis were filming them. And for some reason, I remember like they had the prisoner, it was a U.S. military serviceman. They were showing it, and he was doing like what do you call that? Morse code with his eyelids. What do you think's so funny?
The way you phrase that is like I got dropped off by babysitters. You're like, well, this lady, like, it's just some random person. Like, just go in there. I just,
Yeah, go in there, hang out there before school.
well, this lady. Oh, it's like, it's just a weird way to phrase that. It's just like, did she know you were coming over? You're like, just go on in.
Yeah, I just got dropped off there because my dad didn't want me hanging out in front of the school for 2 hours before they opened. And that's where Matt had to go after school.
Okay, so it's just a weird way to fucking say something. It's like, well, this lady. Like,
I just remember like it
person.
was so highly covered that they even showed the soldiers that were captured. Like they even aired all that.
Yeah.
And then Ukraine comes and it's nothing. And then at least, there's no shortage. I haven't seen, and I don't try to look up the videos from the terrorists and the shit they're doing.
No, I didn't either.
Like everybody talks about it. I don't even know where I'm like, I'm not looking that shit up.
I'm not looking it up. I don't want to see it.
I already know they're pieces of shit. I don't need to see visual.
I don't need proof.
Clarification.
Knowing. I mean, I know there's plenty of it because I listened to Ben Shapiro and his last. I mean, he's been talking about it all week. He's been showing everything. Cause he said you have to see it so you know the hate people have in their hearts for the Jewish community, and he's an Orthodox Jew, so he was just in Israel. Ben Shapiro was just in Israel. He left.
I got back Friday.
Yeah, so he got back right before it happened. So yeah, but I mean so he's showing all the footage.
Well, I mean, I get it and why you need to see it, but like I already know they're pieces of shit.
Yeah,
they're fucking animals. Like here's the thing: they're caught from a young age and they're brainwashed.
Yup.
Into the religion, like radical jihadists are cult members.
Yeah, and for the most part, the Muslim.
I probably just got us put on a hit list.
The Muslim religion is, I would say probably 98% of the Muslim, Muslim worshippers are peaceful people. It's the jihadists, the ultra, if you want to call it the far right or whatever, it's their far wing of the Muslim faith, and most Muslims do not like the jihadists.
Well, yeah, it's just like was it NRA? They were all Catholics. They were right wing. Well, they were Christian extremists.
The IRA.
IRA, yeah.
Not NRA.
Yeah. They're worthless.
Yeah, the NRA is worthless.
But yeah, the IRA, like, they're Christian extremists.
Yeah.
Everybody has them, not in the numbers that currently the jihadists do.
No. So, I mean,
I'd be pretty pissed off too if there were people that were claiming that they're part of my religion doing these just disgusting, deplorable things in the name of the religion that, I decided to follow. So I'd be
I
pretty
would
pissed off
probably,
too.
I would probably, yeah, fuck yeah, it would be if somebody like if there was a huge Christian, like there was a two to is Christian faith still the biggest, or is Muslim faith the biggest?
No,
Muslim.
still Christian
So the Christian faith, so 2% of that, if that
for
they went,
now.
yeah, if they started doing suicide bombings and terrorist acts against let's say mosques and synagogues, then yes, I would be like, what the fuck,
There is currently a Jesus revival going on though, so
is
numbers
there?
will go up a bit. Yeah, there is an upswell in Christianity, mostly because of all the crazy shit going on, which kind of goes into your next question. A lot of people think we're rapidly approaching the end of days, so they're getting right with Jesus.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next question because you brought it up right at the beginning of your answer to the last question. You said a lot of people on the left, and let's be honest, a lot of the left, not a lot, but I mean, you know, a big part of the left is the LGBTQ
All I'm
community.
gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say 99.99% of all like extreme LGBTQ or any LGBTQ what do they call themselves, activists, are on the left.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I would say all of them. Why are they behind a country and region who would hang them for being who they are? Not just hang, publicly humiliate. They'll, whatever. They'll not survive over there. Why, you know, why are they supporting these people? You know, and at the same time, they hate America, who actually embraces and celebrates them. So
Well,
I
they
don't get it.
embrace
Is it self
and
hate?
celebrate themselves, and then certain people in government will, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and companies and everything else.
But like the rest of the country doesn't give a shit one way or the
Yes,
other. You do you. Stay away from
yes.
my kids.
So why do they hate America so much, but support Palestine, who would absolutely murder them?
Well, I mean, if you think about how all the far left groups act, are they that much different than, like, mentality wise and how they blindly follow things, that much different than jihadists? They're not killing people and decapitating them, but they literally, like, these people will just follow whatever is fed to them. And I think that's why they support them, because they're like, oh, yeah, for whatever reason, we need to support these, even though I have no idea. But I'm just going to go on a limb and say that LGBTQ people are probably more accepted in Israel than the Gaza Strip.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Israel is full. I mean, I'm not saying full of like gays or anything, but I mean, it's full of different people. I
I
mean,
would
they got.
find that hard to believe, Kevin. Have you seen their female service members?
I just say they accept Muslims there. They accept everyone in Israel. Everybody's welcome to Israel. Um, where not everybody is welcome to Palestine, obviously. Um, like I think there's still some like in Israel. There's a couple. Is there still important? Is the Wailing Wall and well, the Wailing Walls, but I mean,
I think the te- I
is
thought
that
the
still in
Temple
Israel?
Mount is in close to There is a lot of very important religious sites to almost every religion in Jerusalem. And I'm thinking that might be where the Temple Mount is, but I'm not 100% sure. But since I can do live fact checking of myself, I'll go ahead and check it.
Yeah, so I mean, I know they allow whoever to go there. I mean, obviously they can't bring weapons; they get searched as they come in because super border security. But
Temple
um,
Mount,
Temple
not
Mount,
Mound. You stupid.
you said it.
I know, because I am stupid. The Mount of the House of the Holy is a hill in the old city of Jerusalem.
Yeah, so I think Jerusalem has like everything.
Yeah, that's like, well, that part of the world, they say kind of more Africa, is kind of where that's like the birthplace of humanity.
Yeah, because that's where
Or that's where we landed when we were dropped off by our aliens.
Babylon was in. That was
Almost everything in the Bible went down and around that area.
yeah. Iraq was where Babylon was. Mesopotamia was that around that area?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
I
so.
just know that all the stories in the Bible are around that area,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
that
Everything.
part of the world.
Yep.
They weren't here in America, the land of milk and honey,
They were not.
as I like to call it.
Well, maybe the
And by
Garden of
milk
Eden
and honey,
was.
I mean natural gas and oil.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, I don't get the support for it. I just don't get like if somebody's like, it'd be like I don't know.
You can support the Palestinian state, but here's the fucked up thing.
They're not supporting that. They're supporting Hamas.
Well, and here's the thing: like people are like, there needs to be a Palestine, and the Palestinian people deserve their own country, and so they hate Israel for not giving up more of their land. But you know who's also not letting Palestine take any of their land for a country? Every single Muslim country around Israel. The Egyptians don't want them. The Libyans don't want them. Nobody wants them. So Israel said, "We'll give you the Gaza Strip," and they forcefully removed Israelis from the Gaza Strip who didn't want to leave. They're like, "No, you're leaving." So I don't know. I don't get it. It's fucking weird. That's why you don't try to understand the left, Kevin. It gives you a migraine and gas.
Well, they're like, oh, the Gaza Strip is just basically a prison for Palestinians.
It's
Well,
an open air prison.
well, I mean, they can still. I mean, yes, they can't go into Israel, but that's really it. They can go anywhere else.
Can they not go into Israel even if like
Well, they can't go into it with guns and bombs.
they can? I'm sure they. Well, obviously they can't nonchalantly walk through the wall. But I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure there's entrance. I know there's entrance points. They can go into Israel. They just, they can't go in. It's not like they can just, they're not just, yeah, like you said, walk wade a river that's 2 foot deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they can, but there's a
It's
lot of
not
people.
like
Though.
our border.
The problem is I get it's a small section of land and there's a lot of Palestinians. I understand that. So the world needs to get together and not take any more land from the already tiny Israel and maybe carve the Gaza Strip out toward whatever country's next to them. I don't know if
Egypt?
it's Egypt or not. Is it Egypt?
Yeah.
I know Egypt's to the south of Israel, so it might kind of
Yeah. How about Egypt? Why is no one mad at Egypt? Why don't they just give back the land that Israel gave them?
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. No, you got to give them to the Israelis. You have to give them.
Why? Yeah, I don't. Because they took it. But I mean, did they take it? I don't see.
They didn't take it. After World War II, the whole world came together and gave them the nation state.
Yeah,
that's why Iran and everybody denies the Holocaust ever happened.
Yeah,
because that's one of the reasons why they got it. They were scattered, millions were killed, and then they all came together and formed their own state. And the world said, "We're cool with this," but all their neighbors are like, "Fuck you."
Well, I mean, it's getting better. I mean, it has gotten better. I think that's what triggered this whole war. Is it has gotten better.
Oh, I think they did it to upset the,
because
the peace accords between
the Abraham Accords.
And because they were working with.
That's where the UA or what was it UE? I can't remember
what the hell is that. The
place that Saudi Arabia.
Hates. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
And then Saudi Arabia, I think, came out and basically blamed the attacks on Israel. It's like, that's not how you broker a peace deal.
No, and I think that's...
if anything, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Just be like, that's fucked up. So I don't know. But now I watched a news thing for news, and they said that Hamas did this attack, okay? And they're televising it to get what is it, Hezbollah in Libya?
Yeah. I was just about to say, go through what you told me this afternoon after I sent you the questions.
Yeah,
about the whole thing, yeah.
So what they said in the news is basically what they think the strategy is Hamas goes in, does all this fucked up shit. And then they use that and they're streaming it to basically embolden Hezbollah and that other terrorist group who I just had on my mind. They're one of the other ones that fire rockets into Israel. But who the hell are they?
The only one I know is Hezbollah, right?
Hezbollah, Hamas, and there's another one that's in. They might be in Iran.
I know what you're talking about.
Shit,
I just had it on my mind too.
It starts with an H, I think. I don't know. They're assholes.
I'm gonna look it up.
But
It's bothering me now.
But see, what they're saying will happen is if they get into the war. So, like, if Hezbollah attacks um, Israel, then the United States will act on that. Well, if the United States get into the war, then they're thinking like the Taliban from
Tehran?
Afghanistan.
Is it Tehran?
No, no, it's not. Iran will get into the war, stuff like that, and basically it's going to kick off this giant war in the Middle East. And they don't give a shit if they die and how many people die. But what they're hoping for is at the end of the conflict, Israel and the Israelis will basically be wiped off the map. That's like what they're thinking the long ball game is.
And it makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like...
I mean, we've already got, what did you say, 2 strikes groups there?
Yeah, we have two striker groups, Ford and I forgot the other one, but we have enough firepower in the Mediterranean Sea right now to level that entire area.
I mean, they can fuck around and find out, but
well, see, that's what pisses me off because, granted, it's great that less innocent people are dying in war because back in World War II, it didn't fucking matter. But if
like
we're going to
bombing places,
yeah, but we're always fighting people that don't follow the rules of war and rules of engagement. So if you're fighting uncivilized people, let's go back to World War II style war. There is no reason why the United States should ever have to put a troop on the ground anywhere unless we're going in for some kind of rescue, snatch and grab, or assassination thing. Other than that, you can just go in and destroy a country's entire... We could knock out any country's entire infrastructure in a week.
I bet you less than that. I bet it's probably more like 48 hours.
Yeah, if we finally got tired of Iran's bullshit, you tell me we couldn't go in and blow up every single power plant, water treatment plant, airport, bridge.
Oh, absolutely.
You destroy all of that. You don't have to worry about anything.
No.
Destroy, their navy, stuff like that. You're done. It's like, and you fix that shit and get uppity again, we'll blow it up again.
Yup.
No, that's the same thing with well, if Russia attacks Poland, then we're going to have to send troops over. Why?
Just send fucking...
We have smart things, and apparently we may or may not have space lasers.
I hope we do.
So that one dome in Moscow that's blue, that'll be the only dome left, Kevin. The green one, it's burning to the ground.
I mean, they already burned up fucking, our own fucking Hawaii,
I'm just saying. Not saying it was a laser. I'm just saying anything under a blue tarp seemed to be okay.
Well, that's why I wear a lot of blue.
Huh? It's right there. This little spot right here.
The Blue Man Group will be the only people.
You know what? You're going to get... So if we get shot, I'm going to be the one that makes it. Or at least my hoodie is. There'll be no remnants of you left.
No.
Just Josh.
Well, I mean, little parts like...
Last man standing, motherfucker.
That's it. You're it.
My hoodie.
Buddy. And the common sense word. Just common sense in you, buddy, in your hoodie.
Common sense in a hoodie?
Yeah. So, okay, so what does Israel have to do to get rid of the Hamas threat?
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, is there a peaceful situation to this?
No.
Yeah, so basically...
There's no way. Well, because here's what's going to happen. If it's a peaceful resolution, they're going to have to give something up. And at this point, I would say that Netanyahu's not giving up shit. And the problem is they need to eradicate Hamas, including the asshole leader who's not even in the country. That little piece of shit that was...
Hunt him down like we did Bin Laden.
Well, that piece of shit was in his office with all his buddies praying to Mecca when he found out that all these innocent people were shot. He needs to come out too. The problem is, at least the Hamas fighters, they're all jihadists. So they're guaranteed a spot in heaven, according to their brainwashing and religion, that if they die in the act of jihad, they go to heaven. So they don't have any fear of dying. So I think we need to go back to what the special forces was and let it be known that every single bullet coming out of an Israeli's gun,
shoot him in a dick,
is tipped with pig's blood.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's what I think I heard stories. That's what our special forces used to do. But they truly believe that if you're tainted with pig's blood, you can't go to heaven. And that's their thing. Like you have to like these people have been psychologically conditioned to hate the Jewish people and to want to die in order to be guaranteed a spot in heaven and apparently get 70 virgins, which you think
I
it'd
don't
be
know
like,
who made that
huh.
part up. I don't know who made that part. The whole
You know what? We're not
jihadist.
getting them yet. Oh, by the way, you also get 70 versions. Sign me up.
Because I'm almost positive it's not written in the Quran.
Hey, I don't know. That's probably made up just to get more people to sign up. But they need to start crushing them psychologically. I mean, hell, I'm not going to lie. You know those planes that they fly during forest fires?
Yeah, just drop pig's blood everywhere.
Yeah, I would be doing that. And I
Huh.
wouldn't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about it. You can't do that. That's blah, blah, blah. I don't care. They came in and cut off babies' heads, shot babies in their cribs, kidnapped and murdered Holocaust survivors. They literally survived the Holocaust to be captured by some fucking far, you know, indoctrinated radical jihadist asshole. It's like, nope, every bullet, and I'd advertise it. I'd even show them every bullet stained red with pig's blood. So anytime you get hit with a bullet and you can't get it out, they're permanently tainted, from my understanding. That's the kind of shit I'd be doing. Because not only are you getting eradicating them, but you're psychologically just it's like, oh man, if we go against them, it's like they're kryptonite,
Yeah.
from my understanding.
Oh yeah.
Pig's blood and gay people.
Yeah.
They don't like them either.
I know no, they don't. But gay people like the Palestinians and the jihadists.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I just find it weird that when they want to call like these fucking far left people, they want to fucking call people fascists and Nazis, but yet they are supporting, pretty much people who are worse than the Nazis. Well, maybe not worse, but just as bad as the Nazis.
Yeah, I would say just as bad. I would say worse because they're televising it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So if not as bad, then worse. I don't know.
I would agree with that. I would, as you say, concur.
I think I want to word this different. This last question. This is the last question of Israel.
Yeah, I saw the questions worded all dumb.
When Hamas is done, is will you think there will ever be peace between Israel and Palestine?
I don't know. The problem is
You don't want 7 years.
it sounds stupid because we're going through the same shit over here, sadly. It's a cultural thing. It's basically a cultural war. Like these people don't understand or don't notice that like to them it's just like we're stuck in a small place and these assholes will give us more land and they're not seeing the amount of land that they gave up and what they're doing to allow them to have their piece of the pie and nobody else gives a shit. They're focusing all their hate on Israel. So somehow you got to take that apart. And then apparently, if there is peace in the Middle East, if they sign a 7-year treaty in the Middle East, that is one of the omens of the coming of the end of times.
Now, let me ask you this because I don't know enough about the, whatever trials and tribulations. I mean, will there ever be peace with? I mean,
I don't know.
Can there be peace between Palestine and Israel if Iran is what it is?
No.
Exactly.
Because Iran's always going to keep putting people over there and feeding terrorists. Like, they're already thinking that some of the guns being used by Hamas are some of the guns that came from Afghanistan.
I'm probably. I would almost guarantee
it. Pisses me off, too. So, like, they're going after Trump for all this shit, right? Bullshit stuff. You can't ever sue the federal government. Like, okay, so obviously, unless you're got water on the brain, you have to know that there's a decent amount of sleeper cells in the United States, and it's just a matter of time before we have not necessarily 9/11 with airplanes, but there is going to be terrorist attacks in the United States.
Oh, absolutely, and it's just like you said, it's just a matter of time because I was worried it was going to happen around the same time because Iran was also at the time when this was happening. They were
Israel's
saying,
little
Satan.
Death to
Israel, death to America was a chant going through the Iranian.
Israel
government.
is little Satan.
Yeah,
America is the great Satan. So they will be coming for us again. I don't think they'll ever be able to do what they did in Israel, but
could you not see a fucking terrorist cell where they're around a, let's
Well,
say,
it
a
would be a
Texas
major
town or
city.
Arizona town, and
Nah, they would do
just
it.
you don't think so?
The only place that would work is in a big city. Now, if they had a shit ton of people enough to like get in, you'd have to have so many people to overwhelm a rural area because as soon as like stuff starts kicking off, every person in that town is grabbing their guns.
And
Because not the weird thing is everyone in Israel, I think, has military service required,
but they have super
they're
strict
pretty
gun
tight on
laws.
gun laws.
Yeah, they're super strict on gun laws. Which
So the
they
only place an attack like that would work is in a big city.
they what they did immediately after the attacks is Israel dropped all their gun laws.
Yeah, makes sense.
And this keeps happening. If people can't see why 2A is so important, it's not. I mean, one, it keeps the government in check and protects the rest of the, um, it protects pretty much the Constitution and all the amendments. But it also, if somebody tries to invade, regular people can defend themselves. You don't have to, hand out ARs after, people have already died. It's just, it shows over and over why gun laws are gun laws are dumb.
That's one of the good things about the United States because they wouldn't really have to do that.
No, I mean, the United States military has the strongest, military force in the world.
Well, and I guarantee
the American citizens are probably the second strongest military force.
The U.S. citizenship is the most heavily armed. If you were to consider them a military force, the U.S. citizen, U.S. citizen population is the most heavily armed military force on the planet. Because we have more guns and ammo than any other country in our in the population, like multipliers of it.
Yeah. So
I'm betting there's quite a few people in this country that'd be like, "Bring it."
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
You absolutely know there is. There's a guy somewhere out here. Maybe he's listening to us. Maybe he should. And if he is, he should like, subscribe, and share our podcast. Comment once in a while. But yeah, there's that one guy like, fuck, I could not wait. He's cleaning his guns every day. He's like, just like, fuck China. Let him try to come over here. Shit like that,
Oh, yeah. I'm like, well, and there are people in this country that have like stupid levels of firepower. I mean, I got like, the common stuff and a decent amount of ammo for, my 22s and stuff that I own.
Yeah.
But there are people that own
for your hunting guns and stuff.
Yeah, for hunting deer with body armor.
Well, you don't.
But there's people that got.
No one wants to get horned, buddy.
There are people that got fully automatic Barrett 50 cals, like just U.S. citizens.
Yeah,
with thousands of rounds of ammo saved up.
People have whole bunkers just full of guns,
and that's one of the beautiful things of America.
It is one of the beautiful things about America.
Oh, a little 2A update. I don't know if you've heard about. I don't know if you know what a force reset trigger is, because you live in Iowa.
Is this the one that? Yeah, the ban on it got put on hold, didn't it?
It did. There's an injunction put on it. The funny thing is, so it kind of depends on how you look at it. The injunction said that it's kind of like the one with the pistol braces. If you're part of the pro 2A group that sued, then the injunction covers you, which is weird, but anybody else it doesn't. So if you're not part of that group, you could still go to jail for owning one. But it says you cannot be prosecuted for buying or selling or having these triggers. And the guy that owns rare breed force reset triggers is a member of that group.
Is he? Nice.
So technically it's legal to sell them.
Yeah.
But the force reset trigger, they're saying it's a full auto. Now, when you pull it, it allows you to shoot fast. Force reset triggers, echo triggers, or binary triggers, they help you shoot fast. And they're fun and they're cool, whatever. If you get a psychopath with one, yeah, they can do a lot of damage, but they're not machine guns.
No.
So
they're still not fully automatic.
No. Now, depending on the kind of gun you have, there are certain full automatics that don't shoot that fast. you can actually shoot faster than a semi-automatic gun. Now, there are some guns like the Glock 18, which are like stupid fast, and you could accidentally shoot yourself in the face if you don't know how to shoot one. Like all those gangbangers that say, I got to switch.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that gun can literally flip around in your hand.
Yeah.
Because they're so fast. But that's kind of cool. There's a lot of pro 2A decisions going on in courts right now. And I'm hoping that, because there's one about made here, made here, sold here, stays here for suppressors. Because Texas passed a law, because basically the federal government can only regulates commerce between states. Well, Texas is like, okay, well, if the material is sourced in Texas, it's built in Texas, and it stays in Texas, then the federal government has no say-so. So as long as it's sourced, made, and sold in Texas, you can own a suppressor and not have to get a tax stamp. So then the federal government's like, no, you can't do that, which I don't know. I don't even know why suppressors are on the NFA list because they're not a firearm. But I'm hoping and thinking that those are that's going to get thrown out.
It's an overreach of government.
I don't understand why you can't own a full auto. Look, full auto, binary triggers, force reset triggers, lightweight triggers that allow you to bump fire them. That's all fun until you realize you just shot $20 or $30 in less than 30 seconds.
Super expensive to have.
Like I had this buddy that has a binary trigger.
Yeah.
And I used my own magazines to shoot it. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. Oh, fuck. I just shot $15 in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm done.
Yeah, that is. It was cool, but.
And they're novelty. I mean, yeah, if we ever had an invasion, like what happened in Israel or something like that, would a binary trigger come in handy? Yeah, it's a double tap trigger. That could come in handy. So same with a force reset trigger. Those could come in handy for civilian use. I don't even know why you can't own a machine gun. Like, who cares? You should be able to own whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly. Again, no restrictions.
But yeah, that was a little news on 2A. There's a lot of pro 2A shit coming out, so that's cool.
Well, maybe we'll do another 2A episode here coming up. We talk about guns. We got to do that about every 6 months.
Yeah, we love talking about guns and lost art of common sense.
Fuck yeah, guns! Bop, bop, bop.
Because the more guns in law-abiding citizens' hands, the less crime there is.
There is.
That's called common sense.
Yep. Conceal and carry people have, less crime stats than police officers.
Yeah, they have a lower crime rate than police officers.
Oh, so suck that, hippies.
I know. I was carrying one day and I was going to go into a store and I was like, fuck. I got this stupid sign. I got to go back to the truck.
Yeah. Was it the right size sign and everything?
Yeah, I don't do that shit. If they got a 006 sign, which is the no conceal carry sign, I just put it back.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll be back. I'm not going to go up there with a tape. That's about 7/8. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know if I really want to talk about anything else. I think this was I think we're about an hour into it.
Yeah, this is it was I'm sure we said shit that if we had listeners would piss some people off and some not, but it's a touchy subject and there's a lot of fucked up shit going on. So I don't know.
Support Hamas, you're a piece of shit, and stop listening.
Well, yeah, if you support Hamas, you're, like I said, one ass hair, which isn't very big, right above Hamas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Josh.
And this was The Lost Art of Common Sense.
Say what? Common sense!
Common sense!
Common sense!
Common sense!
Well, see you next week, everybody.
Fuck Hamas!